Hey guys, welcome to the episode of Backwoods Brothers. I am with
Sean Drinkwine, the mayor of Estacada, but today I'm going to take the hat off and I'm going to be a citizen for Estacada because we're going to talk about some very sensitive things here.
Yeah, today we are talking about post-election, what really what happens there and what it really means, and what the big changes are and what we can look forward to, and what we should be ready for the next election.
Yeah,
that's both state and national, right?
Yep, I think a national election is what we should be talking about. Well, you all know that the election went the way it did, and it wasn't exactly the sweep we all thought it was going to be, but it was a pretty good stab at it.
I think it was a pretty good sweep, considering the fact that for the last 40 years, Oregon has been predominantly Democrat.
Yeah,
and not only did we take in some of the House and Senate, but we actually knocked off the state supermajority for the first time in forever. I don't even remember last time
that was a good
supermajority.
Yeah.
So they no longer have supermajority, means they can't do whatever they want.
Well, I was kind of hoping we'd have supermajority, but I was going for the gold.
Hey, you know what? It's baby steps, right?
That's right, baby steps.
And then of course. Kotek, was it Kotek? Kotex,
yeah.
Like a tampon?
Yep, just like it.
Giant tampons stuff up Oregon. No. So she obviously took governor, but the big important thing to look at is because they don't have supermajority, they can't just bully stuff through.
That's right. That's right.
It still takes, anything supermajority they can't do anymore, which is like if they want to make amendments to certain constitutions or state statutes, they have to, win some of our guys over. Yeah. And it does as much as go the other way because they don't have much of a majority.
No, they don't. And, we're already seeing that out there. If you look around, even in our little town, I mean, people are feeling good. I mean, we're getting back to hometown morals here. You spend time with your family. Everybody's happy. I just think we need to get away from the stigma, that everybody's been riding on. It's, this side versus this side.
I know,
and that's the way it's been.
It's amazing. My wife actually let me out of the closet.
There you go.
Yeah,
there you go. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but...
Actually, I was on sit on the couch and watched a movie. It was crazy. I didn't know where I was. It wasn't in the office.
But you got that wood pile down, didn't you?
Yeah, I got half the wood pile down.
See?
I'm behind. So I've been trying to do 3 wheelbarrows a day to keep myself a little bit of exercise. There you go. And I missed yesterday and today, so now I owe myself 9 tomorrow.
There you go.
After tomorrow, I owe myself 12. So, but as far as here in the area, for example, the Republicans took the majority on the Clackamas County Commissioners, even though they are nonpartisan.
Yeah.
I think our representative for the district here also came in for, I think the House side is also, that's the U.S. House is representing from a Republican, and there's another one in a different part of the state that took Republican as well. So we got 2 Republicans, I believe, and then 4 Democrats.
That proves the fact that, I think people were ready for change.
Hey, Kat, how's it going for boring?
Yeah. Get back to what makes Estacada and the nation as a whole a better place. So I'm really encouraged by what we're facing now. I think we can get some things done on so many different levels. And
the real change, while it's big to not get the governor and things like that, and the reality is if we can get the local, and we start the local and getting some foundation solid there, and then we roll that into a county, we start pulling some counties in and get some good foundations there, then the rest just falls through from going forward. But really what needs to happen is people need to see on the local level, now that they've got some good leadership in many areas, not every area, but many areas, they need to see what that good majority can do, across the county and different cities and things, and see, okay, well, under I guess it's not partisan or local, but under certain type of leadership, I'll say it that, these cities and these counties, and sometimes it's, I guess Metro isn't part of that, but they can actually they can see how good it is, and then they'll want to vote more to that next time. They want more of that.
That's right.
And they realize it's not a Democratic leadership; it's a Republican leadership.
Exactly.
So,
and that's encouraging. I mean, I got to say, from my level, being nonpartisan in a little city as a mayor, where, you really hope that you get this kind of situation that we have right now. We have the majority on our council, which is nice, and we're seeing at the Clackamas level as well in our commissioners. Yep. And for us in Clackamas, this is a good thing, because we can get back to hometown value, which is so important.
My big thing is the majority is great on all that, but honestly, it's about balance.
It is.
It really is, because you can get, as we saw recently in the Republican Party, you can get people that are so crazy radical on one side, and you get the people that are kind of the more the moderate that understand that you have to be able to work with the other side. You can't just bulldoze your way through, because that's what the left did. They bulldozed their way through, and we saw what happened with that.
Yeah.
You got to have, because nobody thinks alike. I mean, you got to have some balance in there. And when you get too crazy on both ends, you can't balance that. You got to have something.
It's extremes at the worst.
Exactly. You got it. You can't win absolutely everything. It's never going to happen. No. So you got to understand how to deal with the losses, and it's got to be a trade-off, and it's got to be a planned trade-off.
That's right.
So that the best outcome comes out in the end. So
well, I think we see that right here. Like I said, in our small little town, it's always been side to side. The last, 4 years, all we've seen is angry people with each other. It's all been political based, and we didn't used to be that way. Mm-hmm. I remember when it was like this in this town. We all got along. We all did things together, and things were just smooth as you could possibly want. And then things changed. Politically, set the pace, and everybody changed. There was this side and this side. There was no in between. And I think we're now going to see that coming back, where we can actually all get along doing the things that we need to do in our cities and a state as a whole. So
exactly. I think we'll hopefully start to see more of a balance come back. And if we see a balance come back where both sides are kind of going back and forth and a little bit of compromise, give and take and stuff to try to come up with the best outcome, then I think that's going to hopefully melt away some of the political aggressiveness. And then those that are superly politically aggressive will be pushed to the side, and we'll try to get some of that balance back. It's not, like I said, there's going to be problems in the upper part. We know that there's still a lot of extremism in there, and we're not in any way in a good spot yet. Yeah. We're moving that way, but I'm hoping that there'll be more balance now that there's supermajorities are gone, and people have had so much of that crazy extremism. They're just pushing in the side.
Well, I think we focused for so long on the political side of this, we lost track of the day-to-day. And I think that's really what we ought to be concerned with right now is what are we going to do with our city? How are we going to get better? How are we going to get people out there doing the things they do together? I mean, like I said, 4 years ago, Estacada was a different place. I mean, we all did things together. We were all on nonprofits. We all worked together. There was never a question of what political venue we were attached to.
It didn't matter. It was about the people.
Now, it's been that way for a long time. And I think now that we've got the majority here, we can calm down, get back to family value, get back to what matters. And I think that's what everybody's looking for.
Well, exactly. By the way, hi Kelly, hi Mary, good to see you guys there. Hi Spot. Exactly. And that's the thing, bringing it back to the family values and get rid of the political crap, because that's all that political crap does is it gives us a false division that we don't really need. All we really want, everybody has a desire of what they think is best and what they really want to get to.
That's right.
And the thing is that we got to remember, everybody's got to live in the same world. And someone else may not have the exact same desires we do. How can we give them a little bit of what they want, a little bit of what we're looking for, and try to keep the sense of culture that we've had in here so much that we want to protect, the hometown feel? Because the big city, for the people that live in the big city, out here is not the big city. This is rural area. This is people that want the rural type of living.
The dynamic here is a lot different, and I think now we have an opportunity more than any other time in the last little while to actually bring the people together to say, hey, how can we make Estacada its best?
Exactly, and I think one of the biggest things too that I've absolutely loved, I'm already starting to see a lot of, is draining the swamp.
Oh, yeah.
They're getting some of the, and I say by draining the swamp, I mean that on all sides of these things. There's been a lot of I've seen in different cities. I've talked to different mayors and different council people, especially when we went to the meeting over in Bend.
Oh, the league.
Exactly. A lot of people tell me there's been a lot of one-sided balance, or people that had too much control in town. Mm-hmm. And a lot of the last couple of years have really kind of brought that to the surface, and that's been really pushed out. And now they're starting to have a lot of balance and a lot of transparency and accountability on things. Is great.
Oh, yeah.
Now we just got to get that up top, which, by the way, Nancy Pelosi
Yeah.
No longer Speaker of the House.
Oh, there's a moment, huh?
Yeah.
I think it's, like you said, the league is a good example of the climate out there. We've been dealing with the last few years, and the league has always been one-sided. And I think now we have an opportunity to kind of get away from that stigma, whether you were conservative or liberal, and we can get into the needs of the state as a whole.
Exactly, and that's the big thing. But there are still some things out there that we got to keep an eye on. Don't think that that the craziness is gone.
No.
And we're dealing with 114, which right now it's in federal court, and I heard there's some good things from the lawsuits going out about that. They're trying to stop it. December 8th is when it's supposedly supposed to go live. But they're already working on putting an injunction on it, and I hear they're moving forward on that pretty good right now. Oh. I haven't checked in a little bit to see what the recent lawsuits have said in the last couple of days.
Yeah.
But last I heard from a few days ago is that they made good grounds, and that they're hoping to actually get the injunction in place until the legalities and until they basically holding the state off and putting it in place until they got all the questions and all the requirements answered. Like, how are they going to meet that 30 days? Do they have the funding for it? What are the regulations? How are they going to enforce it? All these state pieces here, they're going to put an injunction in place is what they're trying to do until they can figure that stuff out. And if they can't answer by X time, then they'll block it totally. I think it's what the plan is.
Good. Well, that's good. And I think, that's only being done because of the changes we've made in our political venue right now.
Exactly.
I'm encouraged by it. I'm encouraged at a state level and a city level for us and a county level, because I think you, the people, are going to feel the changes and finally going to take a breath, as you would look at it, I think.
Exactly. And it was a couple weeks ago, I was talking about 113. I was 1111.
1111, not 113.
I always get it backwards. 111.
Just adding a little in there. I know.
Yeah, 113 was that wasn't the slavery one? Is that what? No, that 113 was the can't miss more than 10, which, by the way, everybody voted for that, but they don't realize they just took the minority option away for walkouts.
Yeah.
And so all the Republicans have voted for that, thinking that was a great idea. You just basically, when they need to stop and need to walk out, and you say, why didn't they walk out? Well, if you voted for, was it 113? That's the reason why.
Yeah.
Or there's the slavery one, which basically, if you're wondering why we no longer have people to go out and clean up the streets now, or to clean up all the homeless stuff and all that, when we're already having trouble with that as it is, now either people are going to go to jail, and in order to work, if they offer it, are going to have to get paid prevailing wages, by the way, to work while they're in jail. So they're going to get their housing, their food, their clothing, and everything else paid for them minus their essentials. And they're going to get paid prevailing wages.
And these are the people that either robbed you, stole your vehicle, maybe did some
murder people.
Yeah. Horrible crimes. And they're going to be walking around, and they do not have to pick up the garbage. And this one blows me away. The fact that we even put this out there and that the people voted for this is ridiculous.
Because the word slavery is on there. But here's the other thing, too, is next time if you one day say you commit maybe a misdemeanor, you sped too much, or you did something you didn't mean to commit a misdemeanor, where the option would have been jail time and a fine or community service and a fine, then potentially you could end up with jail time because you don't have that community service as an option. The other option might be probation or parole. Probation, parole is if you went to jail and came out. Probation would be an option. So that means people that should be going into jail also too might be going probation, because that's going to be one or the other.
And the idea that we could take somebody who's hurt somebody, and that person would give back to the community, and all of a sudden we say, no, you can't do that. You're going to earn a healthy wage, and you'll just be on vacation for a while.
Yeah, sure, you can't go out and spend that money, but hey, you're going to come out with a big wad of cash to go out and do what you want with.
That's it.
So maybe they'll do something smart, which I wouldn't expect it, but maybe they'll start increasing the restitution charge that they charge people, so when they go out and work that money, all that money now has got to go back into payback.
That would be a nice
pay back restitution for victims and everything else. That makes sense.
Yeah, I'm good with that. We ought to put that in the next bill that goes out.
Yeah, that all the money they make from the prevailing wages, that's something
goes to the victims.
It goes to the victims. There you go.
I like that.
Okay, but so the other one, 111. 111 I mentioned last time was where it made healthcare constitutional right in the state of Oregon. That's the framework for the universal health care, which I talked about a couple weeks ago. There's links and everything else if you go dig that up. But that is one to really pay attention to. From what I learned in the last couple weeks, they are planning on sending that to a vote of the people at some point. The Universal Healthcare Task Force is going to make their presentation in 2023 to the House and the Senate in that area. I think Senate is who they're actually putting it to. And then there's going to be a bill presented, and it's got to go, and it's going to be put out to the next election, or probably either the one at the end of 2023 or it might be the one in 2024. And it's going to be a vote, and if it passes, universal health care in the state of Oregon will be effective. Now,
mind you, this is healthcare, okay? Mm-hmm. I get you. Everybody wants free healthcare if they could get it, or close to free as they can get. But this is not free, and what you're getting is not healthcare. I mean, if you're gathering at a trough like a cow, and they're delivering you services that just won't take care of any of the health issues you have, then why would you want something like this?
Well, let me put it in a different way that some of our viewers might get here.
Yeah.
People don't go buy beer every day because they have to pay for it. And so they select when they want to go get the beer, and they get the better beer and things like that. And they choose how they do things, right?
Yeah.
But if beer was free and everybody could go get it whenever they want, as often as they want, there's probably not going to be a lot of beer left. And if there is any left, it might be the crappiest kind you can find.
Yeah. Yeah.
There you go. That's the big thing is if healthcare is not, you don't have to pay for your healthcare at all, then you're going to go for every sniffle, sneeze, butt scratch, stub toe, anything you could think of, headache, whatever else, you're going to go and you're going to go how to get that medical care.
Yeah.
So that means at first, the first few months, it may not be the worst, or it's going to really quickly fill up, and then the doctors are going to be months and maybe a year out to get in, because anybody who's ever had an ailment they ever want to go get treated is going to put in for it and get on that list.
That's right. That's right. Well, you can go to, Europe has already accomplished that in several different areas, but ask them how long it takes them to get in for a critical surgery or something that they have to have in order to survive. Sometimes they don't get in time.
Or the government says no. They literally weigh you out with. It's the same thing the insurance companies do, but the insurance companies are held to different laws now, so they can't just simply say that. But when the government's making those laws, or the government has changed the standards to that.
Yeah.
I mean, because when it came down to the approval rating, and for the insurance companies, they were saying yes or no based upon the money they pay for it. At this point, the government's going to say yes until they don't have any money.
Yeah.
And so. I think I heard our producer say something about a commercial
break.
Yeah,
that would be a good time. I got one coming.
Yeah, we're going to talk about Whitney Signs, which I believe you're the back breaking bone work for.
That's what they tell me.
With Whitney there, Mary does all the design work. You do all the slab work on there, right?
That's right. That's right.
It's great.
It's a good company. It's been around for a while.
Yep.
And we're homegrown. And we love Estacada. So
take a look at this.
There you go. We're back on.
Hey, you know what? We just did all the commercials at one time for you there.
That's right. We wanted to share a little bit.
I tested those. Literally tested them all right before. You saw me testing them.
Yeah, I saw you test them, but it worries me when you test anything, Joe.
I know, but when I hand it back to the producer.
That's right. That's right.
Hey, now. Hey.
Hey, is our comment working? If you're out there, start commenting.
Yeah, they are. It says, good got a minor cold. That's what Spot said. Kelly said, I'm stoked about her being gone.
Yeah.
I'm sure that it was Pelosi.
Yeah.
Spot said, thank you. That is good news. However, we are stuck with Kotex, Kotek. And then Spot also said, both are very good explanations. I think we're talking the beer one.
Oh, yeah, that was good. Yeah, everybody likes that.
Yep. Jim says, good show, gents.
Good show, gents. So I like that.
Yep.
Gents. You know, a certain age and it's gents. You know, from there it goes downhill.
I still got about 20, 30 years to get to catch up with you, right?
Oh yeah, that's what they say. At least that's what you say.
That's what I say.
I've seen you carry the wood from your wood pile. Believe me, it's not that long.
Hey, it's not the
More like 5 or 10.
There you go. There you go.
This is the problem with carrying the wood to the wood pile.
Well, that's the problem for this show. We're gonna have to get a wider screen.
I know. Well, they say every camera adds 10 pounds.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how many's on me right now.
Yeah. Well, it's good. You gotta get a stronger table so I have something to set it on.
Yeah. Hey, I built this table. We talked about
This thing shakes like nobody's business.
I know. I actually I topped it on the table. That's definitely not. Anyways, so Pot says basically limiting us with the quality good insurance, and for those illegals getting better insurance. Yeah, that's the problem. Too that gets me about this big thing is. If the universal health care had said, hey, everybody's going to pay this much percentage, you have these type of restrictions, and this, it would be one thing. But they're saying people that make less than $55,000 or 200% of federal poverty level don't have to pay anything. Everybody else is going to pay for them.
Yep.
Screw that.
Yep.
I work hard for my money, and so does everybody else. And so if you haven't worked to educate yourself, to get yourself to the higher education, or you haven't gone out and you're not getting a job, you're on welfare and everything else. Now, granted, there's weird scenarios where people have mental and physical disabilities, legit ones, that puts them on those categories. I'm not talking about them. And there's people that are young and getting started off and working their way up. Also not talking about them. That's normal. But if you've chosen to not apply and really bust your butt to get a career, get an education, self-study, by the way, perfectly good way to get an education.
Oh, yeah.
You don't have to go to college to do it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of jobs out there. And in my field, yes, they want you to have a degree, but if you have a good education and certifications, you can get past the degree. You just got to work hard to learn it. There's a lot of things. You don't have to be certified and go to college to get a good welding job or get any of the other labor jobs. Those jobs.
And we all know a lot of us are trade people.
Yeah, trades. That's what exactly.
I grew up on trades, and I think we need to get back to a little bit of that. We all forgot how to build a table like this. So it'd be good if we could all get some trades under our belt. But that said,
it hasn't fallen down yet.
Yeah, well, that's good.
There's something blue on it. I don't know what that is. Anyways, but yeah, so it's those type of jobs are there. Minimum wage jobs are not meant to be sustained for a long period of time. They are meant to be stepping stones into a better job. For people who have applied themselves into a minimum wage job over long term, I don't feel for them, honestly.
Yeah.
Now, if they're in a minimum wage job and they are looking to take that next step up, they're going to school, they're trying to find a way to educate themselves, whatever it takes to get to that next thing, then I say support that.
Yeah.
Do what it takes to support that. But don't support mediocrity.
Yeah.
Because that's what's going to bring more mediocrity.
That's right. You're absolutely right on that. And I think, like I said, trades are pretty important. We lost that ability to teach our children how to do the things every day, like build a house, like build a table, like build a farm. I mean, and I know that there are things that come up when you own a home that you have to fix. And our kids have lost the ability to fix those things. So we've got to get them back to that.
Yeah, and if for some reason you're just not a handy type of person, that happens.
Yeah,
have a good enough job that pays someone else to do it.
That's right. And there are a lot of people out there that know that trade, and we pay them to do that. You're absolutely right.
Exactly. Yeah. But yeah, that's the thing is, and I've been at that minimum wage level. Yeah. I've been down there, and I was going for mediocrity. I didn't care.
Yeah,
I was definitely there. I just worked more hours, get more money. I wasn't trying to bust my butt to get up there. Yeah. And then one day it clicked to me and said, you know what, mediocrity is not okay. But I need to bust my butt. So I went to school. Now, granted, I will say for schooling side, I had it paid for because I went into the military. In the military, I earned that right to have that paid for.
Yeah,
but there are lots of things to pay for school. But in my field, I could have gone around that degree if I had to by going and get certifications and starting at the bottom and working my way up step by step through that ladder to show my capabilities and get myself to where I'm at. Because where I'm at now, that degree really doesn't mean a whole lot.
Yeah.
Because when you come out of the school with that degree, you really can't do crap.
Yeah.
You really you don't have a lot of skills to apply to it. You have to be able to show through a history and through positive reviews and things like that to show that you've been able to do it. Plus, pass the interview to be able to answer those questions and provide that information and have a background to it. You got to work your way up.
And we're not saying that education isn't bad, but you know, as the old adage goes, it takes a village. So, you know, we got to get back to that. I mean, and that's all about the trades.
Yep.
I think there are ways that you, even if you're not a scholar and the school is not your end game, that you can get back to the trades and learn something that works for you. And I've had lots of friends that grew up in the trades, and they're journeymen and they're electricians and they're everything, and they're making more than most of these people that went to 8 years of college.
Exactly.
So there is that possibility.
Only until recently, my buddy who was an electrician, he was making more than I was.
I rest my case.
Yeah, and it took me. I finally caught up and beat him.
Yeah.
But but at the same time, I mean, he worked his way up and got himself there. The thing is, it takes time and effort and to work yourself. I mean, anyone who's been there knows that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
Well, I've worked a lot of jobs in my life, started from the bottom and worked my way up. But it was all about the trades. You know, I didn't have the option to go to school where I grew up. There was school was 50 miles away to go to an institution. So, and when you're poor and you didn't have a car, you didn't have much choices. So
the same marriage is an institution.
Yeah. Well, we had to go a different route to get there, but eventually we got there. But it was a hard go at it, and you had to learn a lot of things. So
yeah. By the way, I have a GED, just so you know. Yeah. I did not graduate high school. Joined the military at 17, and then came out. Like I said, I don't even have a full. Like, if I hadn't gotten diagnosed with PTSD and gotten the disability through the VA because of that, which I had to live with that now the rest of my life. But if I hadn't got that, then my school wouldn't have been fully paid for. When I first started school and going into it, I only had 60% of it paid for, which, by the way, you can get that through most scholarships. Yeah. You can get 60%, half, or 3/4 of your school paid for by scholarships. You don't have to pay. You don't have to pay back. In fact, if you go work for UPS or like the post office and a lot of these places, they'll pay 100% of your schooling.
Amazon too.
Amazon, they'll pay 100% of your schooling, and you never have to pay it back. It's part of the benefit. You just got to be willing to work the labor for it.
Yep, that's right.
It said, my kid wants to drop out of school at the age of 14 and wants to get a GED. I told him that's a stupid decision. Yeah, honestly, unless you're 17 and going to the military, even then I wouldn't recommend it. But if you can get the degree, get the degree. But I got a GED. But I was 17 and I went straight. I got the GED and a week later I was in the military. Yeah, like I was off to go. Yeah. So there was not a hang out and do what I want. I had a plan to what I was doing because I was really bored of school. And I scored
for some, doesn't work for others, but there are options.
Exactly. I scored really, really high on my GED scores too, which why I was able to become like a medic and stuff like that because I qualified high on my ASVAB for it.
I think you're a pretty smart guy. I haven't seen it yet, but I know it's there.
I know. It'll come out eventually. Yeah. I'll say something smart occasionally. No, but I'm not trying to brag that I was smart. I'm trying to say is that I had the education already there. I spent my time reading a lot of books and studying. Sure. So I was able to meet those scores and had it when I got my GED and went to the military. I didn't skip out on the education part of it. Yeah. So that's what I'm trying to say is if you're dropping out and you don't got the education to back it up, then that's not okay. You need to stay there, get that education.
And there's a lot of options out there for education. So to say that it doesn't matter, it does. We're not saying that education isn't a good direction to go into. If you have an opportunity, take it. I'm just saying getting more trades out there and watching trades fade in our school system is not the way to do it.
Be careful
I learned
university.
I learned how to make a gun cabinet when I was in high school, and a bed frame when I was in high school, and a dresser when I was in high school, and that was all a trade, And now, you give me a piece of wood and a tool, and I can make it into anything you want. But that's what I remembered from that, and that's an experience I think everybody needs to be a part of, because if you make it, you appreciate it more.
I made a birdhouse.
There you go. But you appreciate that.
I got sued from the bird later. Faulty wiring or something.
I can just picture that. The hole was on the outside, right?
Oh, yeah, but for some reason you don't put it on the bottom. I don't get that. I just figured it'd be easier. You go. Jay said, I told my son trade school first, then college. Hey, you know what? If that's one way to do it. Yeah. So get the trade and get out there and, you got to work yourself up. Sapat said, I told him that he needs to go to school. He also is too young. I will let him make that kind of decision. I will not let him make, like I said, I was emancipated and stuff when I got my parents had to sign off on it and stuff. Either way, well, we're supposed to be talking about. We got into the trades and schools and everything else.
Yeah, that's a whole subject.
That was to talk about not having to pay for your health care and things. But let's jump back into the national side of things. Brandy says, don't go to university unless you are able to be strong against indoctrination, or choose the right university too. That's important as well. For example, Western Governors University, WGU, that's where I go to. You're not sitting in a class being lectured at from professors. They provide the material, and you do self-study to get yourself through it, and then you can reach out to them if you have questions and things.
Yeah.
But they target specifically what you're going for. So there's certain universities that would fit well to not having to worry about the indoctrination and shoving it into your head.
Yeah.
And because you're not sitting there under a lecture for it. They have options if you needed that, but yeah, so it's choose the right university.
Yeah. That's a big part of it.
Yep, exactly. And we should be sponsored by WGU. You just laid it out there for me.
Oh, I know. That was good.
Anyway, so national. We're talking about the House and the Senate. We have majority in the
House.
In the House. Mm-hmm. I think we tied in the Senate, didn't we?
I think we did, yes. There was a runoff there for that last seat.
Georgia's still a toss-up.
Oh, was it toss-up?
Yeah, Georgia's still a toss-up right now.
Oh, wow.
They're doing the runoff election. It won't come until next month. In fact, our own elections haven't certified yet, not until December 9th.
Oh, that's true. That's true. So it all could be a mistake. I'm not really here.
No, or maybe Kotek's really isn't there.
That would be the better one.
Yep,
I woke up.
That'd be a dream.
It would be a dream.
By the way, if you got a letter in the mail that said something about, you need to correct your ballot, that means go correct your ballot, because if you want your vote to count, they will not count your vote, because if your signature didn't match, they will notify you. Plus, if someone calls you and says, "Hey, I'm with the Republican Party" or whatever, don't answer if it's from the Democratic Party. But if I'm with the Republican Party and says, "Hey, I see your ballot here. It didn't get passed because your signature is off or something wasn't right. We're trying to get you to come in and correct that. Please take the time, go in, correct it, get your vote counted, because those votes can change the election post announcement.
Oh yeah.
Especially in close ones. And then you gotta know your opposing party, which is a Democrat party. If you're probably watching this show, but in case you're not, whatever. But the opposing party is doing the exact same thing. Yeah. So protect your vote.
Yeah, it's the last good thing we have as a vote.
Okay, so national. So the 2 years from now will be the presidency. That's a big one because the old executive order and stuff like that.
Huge one.
A big one. And I'm thinking that what's going to happen is, because I just heard, by the way, that so first off, we know DeSantis is running.
Yeah.
I think Trump has announced that he's running the primaries.
Yep.
And then also, what's his face is running. Oh my goodness, Brandy. What's his name? That just announced he's running. What's that?
DeSantis?
No, not DeSantis. No, the other one. Oh my goodness.
Oh, Kanye West.
Kanye West, thank you.
Oh yeah.
Kanye West also announced he's going to be running too. Yeah. So they'll be in the primaries, which will be coming out, I think, not this May, but the next May, I think it is.
Yeah.
I think, it's May or June. I always forget what month it is. They'll be coming out in 2024.
Yeah.
2024 for the primaries. So be ready for that. But you already start seeing the stuff halfway through next year. They'll start pushing for
Well, don't forget, Biden's running again too. I mean, hello.
On a 30% approval rate, that guy's running again. There's a lot to say about that.
Yeah. No, that scared me when I heard that. I don't think he'll make it that long personally, but
I don't think he's not really running. He's more wandering.
Yeah.
Aimlessly.
No, he's out of the game. But no, I hope DeSantis pulls up. He's been setting the pace pretty good.
He's got a really good name. Actually, he's got a good name on both sides, honestly.
He does.
The way he's handled things. He doesn't take crap from people. He really runs the state well, deals with even in the midst of the emergencies, he dealt with that really well.
Yep.
Both sides of the aisle said he did it really well, despite them trying to cause problems. Which, by the way, a note, did you hear that the federal funding that they sent down to help with aid with that the Democratic Party attached billions of dollars for Ukraine behind that?
I don't get that Ukraine thing. I got to say, I've been watching this and watching this. We have sent so money over there, so much money.
$50 billion.
It's not accountable. Not accountable.
Well, did you hear that they're actually going to be there's an announcement on the other. They're actually putting it to the House and for their vote now that they have a majority in there. Soon as January hits, when everybody comes in, they're going to put it to the floor to demand that those responsible for sending the money over there produce where the money went to. Because if you actually read what it says on there, it says Ukraine and other parties, Ukraine refugees and other services, and all these different things on there. And it's like, what's the other parties? Why is it not just going to Ukraine? Why is it not going to Ukraine defense and other services, I think is what it said. Yeah. And it has a bunch of different versions on the money they've sent over.
Yeah.
And a lot of that was sent under the nose. Like, for example, trying to deal with... she says 2 minutes. Holy cow, it's only... We're going to go a couple minutes late just because of the... we started a couple minutes late, guys. So, but, yeah, so the... what was I coming? Oh yeah, so like attaching the money to the support for Florida.
Yeah.
Sending them money. They want to know where the money's going to, and so they're going to demand that they produce the information for it. And then, because what they kind of have been able to track a little bit, there's some questionable items about where it may come back around and landed back into donors' pockets to the Democratic Party. They don't have something solid yet. They need to get the solid evidence to produce it. But
I'll tell you, that's such a dirty deal. I mean, we print money accordingly. We're already in a serious situation. You've seen interest rates skyrocketing and inflation just going through the roof. I mean, you gotta make up your mind when you go to the store now whether you're going to get a gallon of gas, a gallon of milk, or a gallon of hamburger. That's pretty sad.
I'm not sure which one's more expensive.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They're all about the same price. So, it's come to a head where we're going to have to do something. And I think the people are realizing that. We've got, you see the spending that's going on out there. We're down right now. For the holiday season, we should be a lot further along. So I think we're going to have to really pay attention in the next little while, because I have a feeling that people are going to ask the question.
Well, the solution to all this is real simple. You don't have to be a freaking genius to figure it out. Yeah. Don't send money overseas.
Yeah.
Open up drilling local and get that pipeline going back in the United States.
Yeah.
Okay. And stop pushing things like critical race theory and start pushing things like education.
Oh, well.
Don't hand out money to people freely. In fact, maybe go through and do an audit on the welfare system, cutting a lot of those things off, requiring people to go back to work, and then invest money and bring in industry back into the U.S.
Yeah.
You do a few of those things, guess what? We'll have a booming economy again, because that's what Trump had done.
Well, let's get everybody off the street. Let's increase mental health.
Exactly.
Let's get drug programs in place. Let's get these people off the street with an option to stay off the street.
Jay put a big thing. Imagine if that money went to the homeless situation here in this country. Instead of sending $50 billion, imagine putting some of the money on the border.
Yeah.
And then half that, and the border would finish the wall.
Oh, God. Wouldn't that be great?
Put $25 billion down the border, put $25 billion into the country to deal with homeless. And the biggest thing is, doesn't mean you need to go build homeless shelters and all this other social service crap. What you do is you treat the people that are there, process the crimes, stop making drugs legal, and get people on the street that need the mental health, the care that they need. But there's a big portion of those, too, that just don't want to, they're either on drugs or they just don't want to follow the rules.
That's right.
Enforce the rules. If they're doing drugs and they don't want to stop, and they're not willing to go to treatment, put them in jail, and it'll force them to stop because they won't get the drugs.
Well, and let's not forget 9/11. I know everybody remembers 9/11 like it was yesterday. I sure do. But our borders being open, that's a highly likability that could happen again.
Millions of people have crossed the border illegally in the last couple of years.
Yeah, and that part scares me more than anything.
Oh yeah, exactly. Especially after they handed $80 billion with the technology and weaponry, including explosives and everything else.
Well, to Ukraine, yeah.
Oh, not to Ukraine. I'm talking about to the Taliban.
Oh, yeah.
the group that helped to get Al Qaeda to come in and blow up and drop our towers.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, Al Qaeda is hand in hand with them in Afghanistan.
Yeah.
We disarmed them and funded them in order to come back over here to the U.S. and to attack us again. So when there's another attack, and I'm saying when there's another attack on our country, that is directly responsibility and directly the outcome of Joe Biden.
That's right. That's right.
That is 100% it, and the generals that carried out his orders.
Yeah, I don't want to go there, so don't get me wrong. We could bypass that whole thing, I'd be fine. But,
securing our borders will stop it.
That fear is always there. So
securing our borders, really.
Yeah.
That securing our borders is
every other country does it.
Yeah. I mean, you have a lock on your door, right?
Yep.
I mean,
you have to.
The people that vote to not put fences on our borders, I guarantee you they have a door on their house and a lock on their door.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
And they probably have a gate too.
Yeah.
So Martha's Vineyard, right there. Okay, guys, we are actually at the end of our show here.
Oh, yeah.
And I think we're a few minutes over, actually, because we started late.
Yeah, but you talk too much, so that's
I do talk too much.
Yeah.
You know you can shut me up anytime. Just got to give me a good cup of coffee.
That's right.
That's
All right. Well, we appreciate having you all here tonight to see our show, and we hope you'll all stay tuned for the next one. I think you got a holiday show coming up, right?
Yeah. So it's the third week, I think, of December.
That's right.
So we'll get more information as it comes up, and then we have a New Year's one as well.
Oh, great. And I hope he invites me back for the holiday one.
He will definitely be here. He'll be festive, and he'll be here.
Yeah, we want to make sure that all of you out there have a good holiday season, and join us next time, as we guarantee it'll be a good show. And
don't forget about Ranger games coming up.
That's right. Ranger games next.
8 o'clock.
So stay tuned. It's going to be a really good show also. And we get the other half, Jim, over here. He's the man you want to see.
Thanks, you guys. We'll see you next week at 7 o'clock. And we'll see you here shortly for Ranger games.
All right.